You ever notice anything weird about humans?
That's a dangerously broad question.
No, dude, seriously, think about it. We lock our doors at night, but we trust a random GPS voice to tell us where to drive.
Yeah, that's because the GPS is usually right.
Usually? Yeah, okay. My GPS once told me to turn left into a lake once.
Yeah, dude, that was probably a boat ramp.
No, it didn't say turn left into a boat there, Georgie.
Look, I'm just saying that if you drove into a lake, that's more of a you problem.
Oh, yeah? Well, explain this then. Humans invented alarms to wake themselves up, just so that they can hit the snooze button and go back to sleep.
Yeah, that's called responsibility battling depression.
No. It's psychological warfare against ourselves.
Yeah, says the guy that set 5 alarms this
They're
morning.
strategically staggered, dude.
You named them.
Yeah, dude, they have freaking personalities.
Okay, then explain why one of them is named Final Warning, you idiot.
Oh, dude, that one means business.
You're literally a grown man arguing with your alarm clock.
Listen, dude, at least my alarm clock doesn't judge me.
It literally calls you idiot.
That's constructive criticism, dude.
Okay, you know what? I'm cutting you off before this gets any worse.
Fine, dude. Let's just do whatever you want to do.
If we didn't do what I wanted to do, then the show wouldn't go on.
If that were true, you'd be a lot more theoretical and less pessimistic, dude. Your conspiracy skills are like 0.
Whatever, dude. Welcome to The Witch Show, where smart meets stupid and somehow makes sense. My name's Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show, from What I Think Seriously to You.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
Welcome back to The Witch Show, the place where curiosity is louder than comfort and the questions are usually bigger than the answers. You already know it's Georgie, and I just want to start by saying a genuine thank you to the people who keep showing up every week. The ones who hit play at 7 a.m., the ones who listen on the way to work, and the ones who are probably sitting there right now thinking, all right, what weird rabbit hole is Georgie dragging us down this week? If you are one of those returning listeners, seriously, I appreciate you more than you know. This show only keeps going because you guys keep coming back for the next episode, and that means the world to me. And if you like what you hear today, do me a favor. Share the show, send it to a friend, tell your cousin, tell your coworker, tell that one uncle who already doesn't trust the government. This episode might really be his thing. Make sure you like, follow, or subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss the future episodes. And get involved with us too. Jump into the comment section on any platform where the show gets posted. Or head over to the Facebook page. I love that one. That's where I get the most conversation from. It's also the place where I engage the most. And I always want to hear your ideas for future episodes, your wild theories, your corrections, or even your Georgie, you're completely wrong about this. Seriously, get in there and stir the pot a little bit because half of the fun of the show is the community that's building around it. With all that being said, I love you guys and I really do appreciate you coming back every single week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode. Have you guys ever heard of the Library of Alexandria? If you haven't, this is one of my favorites. For a moment in ancient history, humanity attempted something extraordinary, gathering knowledge of the entire world into one single place. The Library of Alexandria, built in Egypt around the 3rd century BC under the Ptolemaic rulers, becomes one of the most established intellectual projects the world had ever seen. I mean, this thing was huge. Scholars estimated the library may have housed hundreds of thousands of scrolls. Scrolls containing writings from like Greek philosophers and Egyptian historians, Babylon astronomers, and the earliest scientists from across the Mediterranean world. Ships arriving in Alexandria were required to surrender any books they carried so scribes could copy them, ensuring that as much knowledge as possible was preserved within the library's walls. The scholars who worked there weren't just preserving knowledge, they were actively expanding it. Mathematician Euclid wrote foundational works on geometry that are still taught today. And Eratosthenes famously calculated the circumference of the Earth over 2,000 years ago with surprising accuracy using shadows and simple geometry. I don't care what you say, that is impressive. Alexandria became something like the world's first true research institute, if you will, where thinkers could collaborate, debate ideas, and build upon centuries of accumulated knowledge. In many ways, it represented humanity at its most curious, a civilization trying to understand everything it could about the universe. But the story of the Library of Alexandria is also a reminder that knowledge is fragile. The library did not vanish in a single dramatic fire the way popular stories often suggest. Historians believe it declined through a series of wars, political shifts, and gradual neglect over several centuries. By the time it finally disappeared, an immeasurable amount of human writing had been lost. No one knows exactly what ideas or discoveries or insights vanished with those scrolls. The tragedy of Alexandria isn't just that a building was destroyed, it's that when knowledge disappeared, entire chapters of human understanding can disappear with it, leaving future generations to wonder what might have been known long before their time. And that's devastating to us as human beings. We need knowledge. We need knowledge to progress and become more intelligent and to survive. No one knows truly what lied within the depths of the Library of Alexandria, but I am telling you right now, every bit of knowledge was stored there. To keep it from humanity is a crime against ourselves. It's unfair. We have the right to know. We have the right to grow and learn and become more intelligent. To do the opposite is to keep us ignorant and suppressed. Knowledge is power. We know this. We know that the pen has always been mightier than the sword. Take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for example. It's not the big, strong athlete that does all of the winning the majority of the time. It's that frickin' mathlete, that smart kid, the one who follows the rules because he knows how to do it. He wins because strategy, because he knows what he's doing. You can know that fire keeps you warm, but if you're not smart enough to build that fire to keep yourself warm, you're still gonna die. So yeah, remember, knowledge is power. We've always known that knowledge is the root of our own survival. We've seen that throughout history. And another thing too is history shows that powerful institutes are not always transparent with the public. In many cases, governments have withheld information, misled citizens, and kept major programs secret for years, even freaking decades. Wait, what? Yeah, exactly. But Georgie, you're crazy. Oh yeah? One of the most famous examples is the Tuskegee syphilis study, which ran from 1932 until 1972. In this study, hundreds of black men in Alabama were told they were receiving medical treatment, when in reality, doctors were observing the long-term effects of untreated syphilis. Yep, the good old government. They're the ones that did that. And even after penicillin became the known cure for this in the 1940s, the treatment was still deliberately withheld so researchers could continue the study on the disease. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, and the truth only became public after the whistleblowers who exposed the study, leading to national outrage, and rightfully so. A major change in medical ethics. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? I mean, what were they thinking? Like, this is a deliberate attack on humans. We're not valuable to them. We'll never be valuable to them. We are just the sheep. We are just the rats in their experiment. God, it makes me so angry when I hear stuff like this. Oh, but it does not stop there. Another example comes from the Cold War era. Project MK Ultra. Have you heard of that one? I know I've talked about it, so if you watch my show, you've definitely heard about this one. But if you haven't heard this one and you're new to the show, well, let me run it by you, okay? It was ran by the Central Intelligence Agency. It began in the 1950s. The program involved experiments into mind control, psychological manipulation, and the use of drugs like LSD. In many cases, people were unknowingly given substances or subjected to psychological testing without informed consent. Think about that. Imagine going into a program where you didn't tell them it was okay to drug you. You're just being tortured, essentially, in my opinion. Oh, and when the investigations in the 1970s began uncovering this program, the CIA admitted to many of these records as being destroyed, leaving historians with only a partial understanding of how extensive the experiment actually was. God, the amount of shame and freaking regret they should feel. But they don't, because they don't care about you. They really don't. You are nothing but an experiment to them if they perceive it. So think about that. Every time you're out there paying your freaking taxes, dude, here comes old Uncle Sam to use the money that you gave him to run experiments on you. And you better pay him, because if you don't, you're going to jail. Welcome to the good old land of the free and the home of the slave. But these examples don't prove that every government program is dishonest, but they do reveal something important about how power and secrecy can interact. These large institutes often justify their secrecy in the name of national security or scientific advancement, yet history shows that secrecy can sometimes cross the line into deception. When citizens learn years later that information was hidden or people were harmed without their knowledge, it's naturally Well, it naturally raises an uncomfortable question. If governments have concealed major programs before, how much transparency can the public realistically expect from the most powerful institutes in the world? Oh, it's okay, guys. Keep lying to us, and we'll still believe you. We'll still trust in our government. Honestly, and that's the freaking problem with today, dude. Everybody pays attention to the news, and there's such a motive. It's left versus right these days, and it's ridiculous because the entire narrative is controlled by the news. I mean, I guess it has been since the dawn of time, but we're breaching into a generation where news is easily accessible on your phones, on your tablets, on your TVs. We are literally being hand-fed bullcrap. Either side you look at, they're hiding so much information from us. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole Epstein files because that thing is insane to me and it's disgusting, and the people that are in it should be... I don't want to get into that. But the point is that it's surrounded by proof that the government hides things from us all the time, and they're going to continue to do this. They do not care about you. They don't. Haven't you heard the phrase, you can always trust a politician? Because I certainly haven't. A politician is only a politician because they want to make rules, because they want to line their pockets. I mean, that's obviously all that they want to do. Maybe in the beginning, they start out with this whole idea that they want to fix and correct things, but later on, as they grow into their career as a politician, they start seeing dollar signs, and it's all about money to them. I mean, literally look at any politician and tell me that they're not richer than their salary they're taking. It's got to be insider trading. Really think about that one. Once you put that into perspective, you can't tell me I'm wrong. A politician's only in it for what's in their pockets. And government secrecy is not unique to any single country. Throughout history, nations across the world have hidden information from their own citizens, specifically during times of crisis or political pressure. One striking example is the Chernobyl disaster. Have you heard of that one? In former Soviet Union, when the nuclear reactor exploded on, I think it was like April 1986 or something, local authorities initially downplayed the severity of the disaster. They literally delayed evacuations in the nearby towns. The world only became aware of something being wrong after radiation detectors in Sweden began registering unusual levels of radiation. By the time the truth began to emerge, thousands of people had already been exposed, and the event became one of the most infamous examples of government secrecy during a catastrophe. Political scandals have also revealed how leaders sometimes attempt to hide wrongdoings from the public. Take the Watergate scandal, for example. It exposed how members of President Richard Nixon's administration attempted to cover up a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Yet again, deceived by a frickin' politician, or somebody linked to a politician, if you will, in this situation. Investigative journalism and congressional investigations eventually uncovered recorded conversations that revealed the extent of the cover-up. The scandal ultimately led to Nixon becoming the first U.S. president to resign from office, proving that even the highest level of government can become involved in deception when power is at stake. Some secrets have been even darker. During World War II, for example, the Japanese military operated Unit 731, a covert program that conducted biological or chemical experiments on prisoners. For years, the program remained largely hidden, and much of the world only learned about its activities after the war ended. These cases from different countries and eras reveal a pattern that repeats throughout history. We see it time and time again, people. Governments often hold immense power over information, and when that power is misused, that truth can remain hidden for years before it finally comes to light. And if that doesn't scare you, if that doesn't freak you out, like what is the government hiding now? And are they better at it? Because think about it. They got caught before, so if they don't want to get caught, they're going to obviously try to get better at hiding from you. Unless you're a freaking lunatic and you think, oh yeah, the government, they wouldn't do that to us. They would never. The government cares about us. Yeah, okay, be a conservative and then go tell that to a liberal. And that's all your politicians are. They're just either on one or the other side. And if you think that they are not playing for teams, you are surely mistaken, bro. If an opposing team can be so offended by simple words said and then kill an innocent human like Charlie Kirk, imagine what a large-scale government would do if they had motive, or even worse, motive and power. If history teaches us anything, it's that secrecy tends to grow alongside power. As governments and institutions become larger and more complex, They also gain greater control over information. One example of this is the Manhattan Project, the secret U.S. effort during World War II to develop the atomic bomb. At its peak, the project employed more than 130,000 people across multiple sites, yet many workers had no idea what they were actually helping build. Talk about just keep your head down and do your job, bro. I can't imagine what those micromanagers were like. If I had to take a guess, though, I'd imagine they were probably similar to my previous pile of crap boss who fired me for punching a machine. Yeah, that's what I said, punching a machine. But I guess in this case, you probably wouldn't want to punch one of these machines. Anyway, I heard he got fired too. Thank you, Karma. You're a real one. Anyway, entire towns like Los Alamos were constructed in isolation, and even high-ranking officials in Washington were unaware of the full scope of the programs until it was nearly complete. It showed just how effectively a massive government project could remain hidden in plain sight. Secrecy is often justified as necessary for national security, military strategy, or intelligence operations. Governments argue that revealing certain information could endanger lives or weaken a country's defense, but the same system that protects legitimate secrets can also make it easier for mistakes, unethical decisions, or controversial programs to remain hidden from the public scrutiny. When information is tightly controlled by a small group of powerful decision makers, citizens may not learn the full truth about certain actions until years, sometimes decades later. I get it. To an extent. But when the government is actively affecting the human citizens, our population, it's ridiculous. And a lot of people end up hurt. And I promise you, they don't care. That's why I've always said that big government is the problem. It's a major problem. The only way that you can keep people safe is in a community that's big enough to where you can be like, hey, I know this person, or at least I know of them. It's the exact same reason why small towns always thrive. People are happier in small towns because everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other so they can hold each other accountable. You have zero accountability in big government, just pockets that need lined with cash, and politicians who really don't care about you, even when they say they do. I know, I sound like a broken record, but I can't drill this into your head enough. But that raises a larger question about trust and power. Smaller communities historically functioned on direct relationships. Direct relationships where people often knew their leaders personally, and decisions were more visible to those affected by them. In contrast, large governments and powerful institutions operate at such a scale that most citizens never see their inner workings or decision-making. The lesson from history may not be that all authority is untrustworthy, but rather that healthy skepticism and transparency are essential whenever power becomes concentrated at the top. So, when you look back across history, a pattern begins to emerge. Knowledge can be lost, hidden, or controlled depending on who holds the power at the time. The story of the Library of Alexandria reminds us that even humanity's greatest collections of knowledge can disappear, leaving future generations wondering what ideas may have been lost forever. And when we examine real historical events, from secret government programs to political cover-ups, we're reminded that the institutions run by people are still capable of mistakes, secrecy, and sometimes deception. But the lesson here isn't that everything is a conspiracy or that every government is consistently lying. History is more complicated than that. What it does show us is that power and information often travel together, and the more centralized power becomes, the easier it can be for information to be controlled by a small group of decision makers. That's why transparency, investigative journalism, whistleblowers, and public accountability have played such an important role throughout history. Many of the truths we know only came to light because someone was willing to question authority and ask difficult questions. So maybe the real takeaway isn't about distrust, it's about curiosity and responsibility. Societies function best when citizens stay informed, ask questions, and remain engaged with the system that governs them. Because knowledge has always been one of humanity's most powerful tools. We know that. And whether it's preserved in libraries, discovered through science, or uncovered through investigation, the more people who seek truth and understanding, the harder it becomes for that knowledge to ever disappear again. We need knowledge. It's vital to our survival. It's what makes us so apex. Without it, we're nothing. And the elite people that run our government know this, so they suppress it from us. Another perfect example is the Vatican's vault. You have to be very important to them to be even allowed to look in there. There's like scholars that never get in and study for life. They're suppressing knowledge. I guarantee you there's something in there that we need to know about. We'll never know about it. It's unfortunate because they hold all of the control. And hopefully it doesn't become like, the freaking Alexandria library and gets burned to the ground or forgotten knowledge because it was just suppressed for so long. Personally, I think these are things that we should be absolutely infuriated about. Stop stealing knowledge from the people. Give it back. Everybody deserves to be smart. Unless you want control, which is the clear motive here, obviously. It's always about control. Pathetic. Stop trying to control us, man. Stop it. This is The Witch Show, reminding you to absolutely trust massive organizations and governments because they are definitely safe. And they care about you. Whatever, dude. I'm Georgie, and I'm thinking out loud so you don't have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Witch Show from What I Think Seriously to You.
WITS, The Witch Show.
Cool story, bro.
I don't like this episode.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad.
No, I mean, I don't like it. Like, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
You mean the part where governments hide things sometimes?
Yes, that part.
You understand that was the whole episode, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Relax, Georgie. Governments aren't hiding everything.
Yeah, that's not comforting. Not even a little bit.
Dude, look at the bright side.
What bright side?
At least we know the government isn't hiding your hairline because that thing is disappearing in plain sight.
I'm serious, Georgie.
So am I, dude. That forehead is gaining territory like an empire.
Focus.
Okay, fine. What's bothering you?
Think about what we just talked about. Secret programs, experiments, cover-ups, lost knowledge. It's like every time you pull back the curtains a little bit, there's something else behind it.
Yeah, that's been true for all of human history.
That's not helping.
Georgie, buddy, listen. Humans have always messed things up, okay? Governments, leaders, powerful people, they're just humans, dude.
That's actually the most concerning part.
Look, here's the important thing.
What?
If the elites were really controlling everything,
Yeah.
they definitely wouldn't let you run a podcast, dude.
Wow.
Think
really?
about it, dude. A guy with a microphone, coffee, and a suspicious amount of late-night Wikipedia research.
I'm just trying to educate people.
Yeah, dude. You once spent 40 minutes researching whether raccoons could overthrow a small town.
That was a legit concern.
Georgie, if raccoons could take over society, the government is not our biggest problem, dude.
Oh my God, you're impossible.
Well, I prefer charmingly insightful.
And I prefer deeply irritating.
Whatever you want to call yourself, dude.
What?
Nothing, dude.
You know what? I'm done. My brain freaking hurts.
From thinking?
From thinking about you.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I'm out of here. Let's just roll the... Jarvis, roll the song.
Woke up this morning, phone in my hand, scrolling through headlines I don't understand. They say trust the system, they say don't ask why, but history's whispering that somebody lied.